We're finite, which means we have a beginning and an end, or we at least have a beginning when first created, because we probably weren't supposed to die. But we have a beginning. God has no beginning. That's weird.
We're like grass.
Okay, right? We're weak. We wither without Him. We need a life source. He is life.
Like a flower.
Like a flower, right? We need dirt. We need something to keep us alive. He is that life according to the passage in Acts, right? He is the life of humankind, but He is life itself, right? He is here, the Godhead. He is God all by Himself. And I heard one gospel singer, He don't need nobody else, right? We need each other to exist. He doesn't. We need Him to exist. He doesn't need us to exist. He doesn't need us to feel good about Himself. He doesn't need us to know Himself. We need Him to know us, to know ourselves. He doesn't. Okay?
Isn't that relating to the fact that we are an image of Him? We are not Him.
Correct. We're reflective. I like to think about it as a mirror, right? So here's this mirror, and God's looking into the mirror. The problem with the mirror is God's much bigger than the mirror, right? So we reflect what God has created our existence to take and bear, right? So only part. And I don't want to make it spatial, but this idea that only part of His attributes, some of His attributes, we call them communicable attributes, can actually picked up on a mirror. God's 3D and we're 2D, if you kind of get that idea. And those attributes that we do call, that make God God and us human, we call incommunicable attributes. That means there are attributes that God has that we will never have. Okay, so the Mormons, one day we all going to be gods and all that, we can have our own planet. Those attributes would never be communicated to human beings, or God was never God alone. He's Alpha and Omega. He was God always and will always be. And if we ever could achieve godness, He was never truly God. Right? Because we're headed there. So the incommunicable, so we're in heaven, we still won't have God's attributes, the incommunicable ones. Omniscience, omnipresence, all those sort of things aren't ours to necessarily have. Yes?
I kind of see God as defining the right and the wrong. Or
Yes.
even
Yes.
He's also creator, and we're creative, but He's we keep saying beginning and end, but I think of it more as a dictionary, as, we have a conscience, but we don't know what we're really responsible for unless He defines it.
Right. If we look at this passage again, it says, the God who made the world and everything in it, being Lord of heaven and earth, does not live in temples made by man, nor is He served by human hands as though He needed anything, since He Himself gives to all mankind life and breath and everything. Then it talks about what He did, and then He says this, being then God's offspring, we ought not to think that the divine being is like gold or silver or stone, an image formed by the art and imagination of man. It's the opposite. We are the formation of God's art and imagination. Yes?
Just think about Him being the potter and us being the clay.
Yeah. He's the potter, we're the clay.